We will need eyes to see.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Welcome to the Lunch Pail Boys. I'm one of the hosts, TJ Harkness. Also on here with me is a man who is a man. Not a child, but a man. May not be hung like a man.
I hope he's not a child after what we did.
Oh, fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I don't know what else to say for Justin Splurton Burton.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Lunch Pail Boys.
Oh, do the thing where you talk real close to the mic. Get him going.
Hello, everyone.
That's better.
I'm Splurton. You may notice a difference in my microphone.
Scoot
You
a
can
little bit
thank
closer
TJ
when
for
you
that.
talk.
Yeah, a little bit closer.
Oh.
Just a little bit closer.
No, I mean in general. That's good. Also on here with me is a man currently wearing an alien mask, and that's why his voice is sort of muffled. It's not because of all the dicks in his mouth, but yeah, just the mask covering. Oh, shit. You just heard him gobble one cock, right? As I... Oh, shit. Another one.
This is experiments. I'm doing it.
That is Skylar. Skylar, there is no Dana, only Zuul. What?
Wubba wubba wubba.
There is
I got
no
nothing.
Christmas, only Yule.
There is no Chris. Yep. Only this Yule log.
Oh, fuck. I didn't expect that when I seen that.
Oh yeah.
So how are you guys doing?
You know, you ask us that every time, and there's always the awkward pause.
Oh, I delete out the pause, so no worries.
Oh, that's good.
But it's true. I'm trying to think of what if I want to actually tell you how I'm feeling, or try to come up with something, bullshit answer.
Either one.
Yeah, I just flew in from Bleak Blork 5000 Krabopulong, and boy, are my arms tired.
You fucking idiot.
I ate a lot of Oreos earlier, and my poop was solid black.
Damn it. Oh, it's the plight of the fat man. I know that feeling, Burton.
Spit all
It's
over
so weird.
everything.
So weird. Does you guys' poop ever transition in the middle, like start out hard? So normally I've had it where it starts out hard and then it turns liquid, like in the middle.
Nope.
But today was a change up. It started out soft, like if you poured Wheaties into a bowl and then let it sit in the milk for 20 minutes. So it looked like old Wheaties in the milk, right? And then halfway through, a big log came out. It was fucking weird.
Like it was.
I've never had to go.
It was like the log ride where you splash down.
Yeah, see, it normally goes the other way though. It goes solid to liquid. It went liquid to solid.
Yeah.
That was
like you pop the cork and
I was expecting that to go more on the Oreo tangent.
well, that had to do with it. It was black.
I've had my
I'm on
shit,
like a mint Oreo thing going.
Ooh.
I've had my shit
Huh.
come out looking like the, that big glob of like metal that's like radiated down underneath Chernobyl. It's like called the camel toe or something like that.
The elephant's foot.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
camel toe.
Yeah. I hear if you look at it, you'll die. Like
That's my fucking shit after I ate Oreos, dude. It's
Yeah.
the camel's toe.
you have to look at it through a series of mirrors.
I'm pretty sure isn't Oreos just fucking chocolate cookies and Crisco? That's right? I'm like 95% sure the cream is
They're like-
Crisco.
God damn it! I told my grandma not to make homemade Oreos ever again. I could tell I could taste the bacon grease in between the cookies.
I mean,
Ooh, now you're onto something, dude.
chocolate cookie and bacon grease.
No,
Yeah, swap that Crisco out for bacon grease. Add a little sugar to that bacon grease.
chocolate chip cookies, and instead of using vegetable oil, you use bacon grease, and it makes the best fucking cookies ever. Yep, I do
sounds
that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Could explain why at one point I was beyond morbidly obese, as like 2 times morbidly obese.
But you were happier.
Yeah, there's nothing like not being able to breathe when you lean over, shit like that.
Yeah, that's why I keep my shoes tied.
No, they're luxuries.
I can't even cut my own toenails.
Adapt and overcome.
I can't remember the last time that I touched my toes.
Even before I was fat, I couldn't touch my fucking toes.
Why would you want to touch your toes?
Down, 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 down. Good.
Well, for Burton.
I used to be able to spread them things. Get all up in there.
Wait, your toes or your butt cheeks?
All of it. Everything that you could spread on me, I could spread it.
You name it, he can spread it.
Mom's boyfriend, look what I can do.
Yep.
Well, that was a class A start to the episode, to any episode.
No, that came out of nowhere. It was.
We went from Oreos to shit to stretching. Because we're all about health.
Well, that was a giant fucking Mexican burp too. I ate some bad Mexicans tonight, so. But before we get going, Burton, I don't know if you have any alcohol, but Zuul.
I have an empty Mountain Dew bottle.
Empty Mountain Dew bottle. Zuul. Let's raise our glasses.
And our asses.
A new year. This is our second New Year's. Hopefully, this coming up year will be even better.
New year, new beer, or something like that. Something they said.
It's so.
So before we get into the weeds with this upcoming episode, I do want to say this will be a two-parter, okay? And I know last episode we declared that we're going to take probably about a few weeks to a month off. But I wanted to wait until after we finish this two-parter because this is a real good... It's probably one of my favorite alien-related stories. So...
17 pages. Holy...
That's why it's two parts.
Yeah, so... And with this story, it's about a man named Travis Walton. I mean, if you can read clearly, you click on it and you've seen the fucking title. So, surprise is sort of lost there. But there's a lot of information that typically doesn't get covered on podcasts, reports.
Travis. Who's Travis? Walton?
Yep. I think that's like 5 minutes after I said his name.
Travis. I've been thinking about how to say it.
It's Travis Walton.
Yeah, Waltime. Yep.
Travarius
Walton.
Yeah, wonton.
Travarius Walton.
Anyway.
The parts that you typically don't hear, I think these are some really important small tidbits that can really sway a person one way or another on whether, they believe this or not. And we don't like, especially on this, I really don't think we try to tell anybody what to believe, but we encourage them, after you listen, look up the shit. Don't be a lazy piece of shit. Look it up. Verify it for yourself.
Or just believe everything we say.
Oh, you could do that.
Yeah.
So, in my typical fashion, I will say I took a lot of time reading reports, books on both sides of the aisle for this. The sources for these will be listed on our lunchpailboys.com website under sources, episode sources.
We actually stuck it under the nudie picture category just to throw you off. So you won't actually find the sources because no one's going there.
Nudie sources.
The nudie sources.
Nudie Magazine Day. Oh, gosh.
Our two biggest sources we drew upon for the episode that we're drawn upon is the book written by Travis Walton, Fire in the Sky. And for having not, I guess being a polished writer or fairly heavily educated, it was a pretty easy read. Would you say?
Yeah.
Being the one that actually read it, all of it, all of it, most of it.
I only read audiobooks, so.
Hey, that's still something, dude. Audiobooks.
I've actually never listened to an audiobook in my life.
Oh, I listen to a fuck ton. But I would say a lot of the reason it was such an easy read is because it's the way I've heard him talk many times before, but he writes like he talks, which I could find some kinship in that because that's how I do it, unfortunately, for you guys.
Yeah, sometimes we end up sounding too much like TJ.
And I apologize. I can't help it. I'm a fucking hillbilly at times.
We also drew upon some opposing, I guess, viewpoints of the incident using Skeptics UFO newsletter number 21, not 22, not 2020, 21 from May of 1993, and UFO Abductions, A Dangerous Game.
Which that's from Philip Klass.
I was gonna say I was gonna ask you who. Yeah,
Uh,
that's the UFO Dangerous Game,
yeah.
the most dangerous game.
And I wanna. Every time I hear Dangerous Game, I think of that. But no.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would say that Klass, he's a grade A asshole.
We might say, Burton, you want to say it?
What's
I'll
that?
say it. He's a class
You
hole.
say it. Oh, a class hole.
Yeah.
I wasn't picking that one up.
I was
He's a
hoping.
McClass hole.
Yep. But I will say he does have some valid points here and there. I dislike him not for his beliefs, which I think a lot of skeptics sort of fall into that trap, but like his general hubris towards people that believe. He's an arrogant little fucking cunt. And arrogance always pisses me off. So, to move on from that little pre-nip, Zuul, Burton, I'm going to ask you now. And I've got one. I don't know if Zuul does. But we all have that one crazy-ass friend who will do the things, that we all know we shouldn't do from time to time. These things tend to be more risky and daring. I know Burton, for me, is one of those friends. And I'm also self-aware enough to realize that I've done some pretty fucking goddamn stupid shit at times to maybe land me on this. What was that guy I pretended to be?
Oh, fuck.
Vendor. Yeah, Vendor.
Yeah.
Vindar.
But you were a teenager when that happened, so.
Yeah, I still did shit like that in college, though. Unfortunately. So, I did a lot of them things, sort of to prove myself, to show like I am fucking crazy as fuck at times. And I never really wanted to be the one to back down when a friend would tell me to do something. So.
No, I won't back down.
I love that song.
Call that the Tom Petty.
So, I will say this episode goes out to all those unnecessary risk takers, those doing it to get a laugh, those just trying to cement their names among their friends and townspeople's lips.
The guys will stand up to the gates of hell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They won't.
And they
back
won't
down.
back down.
Better, I would say, that guy that's always called typically by his friends one crazy sumbitch.
One crazy sumbitch.
Here's to you, Mr.
Braille men of genius.
Mr. Do anything to make your friends think that you're a cool, crazy sumbitch guy.
Mr. Guy that would do anything to make you think crazy, blah, blah, blah. Go guy.
Are you hanging fishing lures off of your testicles in order to woo your male friend's attention?
No.
Are you jumping off a bridge into a lake in the middle of the night and you don't know how deep it is?
This bud's for you.
Yeah.
So let's begin.
Suck my titties.
Name two things you would do on a cold November night.
Suck titties.
Suck TJ's titties.
No! You dick.
Suck them and fuck them.
Oh. No. I don't want to give these people the wrong impression of me.
They used to hold me down and titty fuck me.
What's that from?
I don't remember.
That was not one of my words.
They used to hold me down and titty fuck me. Quoted by, TJ Harkness.
Nope.
Wayne Gretzky. That was Wayne Gretzky, I think. You miss 90% of the shots 100% of the shots you don't take.
You miss 100% of the shots you shoot into the napkin.
You miss 100% of the titties you don't fuck.
It's a good thing towels can't get pregnant.
Another thing you might do on a cold November night in 1975. Involves 7 loggers.
A 9-iron and a bottle of lube.
No. But on a cold November night, again, in 1975, 7 loggers' lives would be changed from there on. This 7-man logging crew were working, and I never say this, Sid Grievous.
Shit grave.
Shit grave. The Shit Grave National Forest. Why not? The Sit Greaves. Can someone just tell me how to say it?
Yeah, it's Sit
I think
Greaves.
it's Sit Gravas.
Sit Gravitas.
Mm-hmm.
National Forest near Heber, Arizona. As they were wrapping up their logging for the night, they all saw a bright light off to their right. As they got closer, they saw a bright saucer-shaped UFO hovering about 20 feet over a clearing. Now, we all talked about the group Wild Man. The Wild Man in this group was none other than Travis Walton, also known as Travis Walton.
Yep, Travis Walton.
Also known as Travis Walton. This wild son of a bitch did what no man would do when encountering most men wouldn't do. Real men of genius.
Mr. UFO Jumper Man.
Did you get shot down by a beam of light after you ran up to a floating orb of fire? This, bud, is for you. But because he did just that, Wild Man jumped out of the truck and ran right up to this floating ball of fire in the sky.
Hey, you motherfuckers.
Hey, Hank, look, they're crossing over the border. They're just being really creative this time way.
These illegal aliens are getting out of hand.
Where's Trump at?
This is a little before.
His wall
Oh,
won't
Trump was
reach back
definitely-
this far in time.
That's true. You have to build a taller wall.
A time traveling wall, too.
Yeah. 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 So in the process of running up to this unidentified flying ordnance, Travis was zapped and then not found for several days by his logging cohorts.
So, after that, over the course of damn near 48 years, these loggers would be subjected to significant public scrutiny from common folks, law enforcement, and the dreaded super skeptics.
Ugh.
So, my friends, this is the story of the Travis Walton abduction.
Real man of genius.
So, just to put this out there, the story of Travis Walton's alien abduction stands on the same hill of believability as the Betty and Barney Hill abduction encounter story stuff.
I like what you did with the hill.
Yeah. Yes, the hill.
A lot of hills here.
Hills have eyes. If you haven't listened to it, we actually covered that one back on episodes 14 and 15. So go check it out and listen to it live. Well, it used to be live.
What?
It was live months ago. Now it's
Years?
not live.
A year? Almost 2 years.
Like a year ago. Yeah. Time flies when you're not wearing pants.
Or masturbating in cheese puffs.
It was
So
pre-recorded.
sit down, put your pants on, take your underwear off, and let TJ, Skylar, and me talk you through this wonderful story of alien sex.
I mean, you haven't got your pants off already. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm. I'm in my underwear.
Burton started talking today, and my pants immediately unzipped.
My butt got so wet.
So if you don't have your dog's cock in your hand by now, what are you doing with your life?
Not committing interspecies erotica.
Neither am I. I've never heard of such a person.
Wait
Rose, back away.
a minute.
Rose doesn't
hasn't-
have a cock.
Shh.
I
He has a
mean,
dog gina.
she found one somewhere.
Rosie has a dog gina.
Rosie just found a dick she's carrying around in her mouth.
I have concerns then.
I would be where I want to know whose dick that is.
I'd be like, why is that dick? That's
Has Rose
Clearly
has Rose ever been
separate.
fucked?
I don't know.
You need to get that dog laid, bro.
Get her on the mic. Ask her.
Rose, Yeah, she's doing the dead dog pose right now. Where she's not
Did
moving.
Link
and
ever
barely
put it?
breathing.
Did Link ever rail her out, or what's up?
Link was dead before we got her.
Anywho,
That'd be a cool dog, a Saint Bernard and a Pomeranian or whatever she is. Pyrenees.
yep, it's a Pomeranian.
That's the biggest fucking Pomeranian I've.
Big fucking Pomeranian.
God damn! How much food can your Pomeranian eat?
What were we talking about, Skylar?
Oh, we're gonna talk about some hills and some wontons and put them together. And what do you get? You get a couple of abduction scenarios that share striking similarities. Both the hills and and Waltons, they both kind of go about the stereotypical abduction scenario. Where humans encounter and see beings from another planet or another reality or another bean factory. Some of them come down and ask for delicious steak and shake cheeseburgers as well, as we found out in the Betty and Barney Hill episode 14 and 15, if you haven't listened. And ultimately, the aliens end up taking the humans with them on a joyride to the interstellar steak and shake on board their flying vesticular craft.
Chicken sandwich.
Chicken salad.
It's actually a flying space chicken sandwich. Don't mind
Oh, man. I bet that's good chicken. Space chicken?
it. Popeyes.
Bet it's out of this world.
Oh my God, Jesus fuck. So
Can't be beat.
the biggest difference between Travis Walton's story and the Hill abduction is Travis had 6 other first-hand witnesses observing the initial act take place. This encounter received so much attention and public scrutiny that a few of the loggers moved away to attempt to live in obscurity, away from the stigma of being that fucking nut job that, he got blew by the aliens on the party barge.
Mhm.
None of that was true. They just seen UFOs. They went like,
Well, that would make sense why he ran up to it if he saw a big fucking craft that had a big neon sign that said party barge on it and some thumping music, like aliens hanging out.
At the abduction party.
they look in through the window and they see some like giant alien hooters, and it's like, fuck yeah.
They're all doing alien blow off of their alien hooters.
I seen this porn pop up, and it was a chick, but she was in like a full gray, like legit, like movie gray costume. Looked like an actual alien,
Oh,
except
God.
she had a punani, and so the scientist was like probing it, and he's like with his little metal toy.
Yeah,
And he had her like
for
tied
science.
down, and
Do it.
I was jerking off to it. Not gonna lie.
You were jerking off for science.
Yep,
Yeah,
I
this
was-
is experimentation here.
What more noble reason to masturbate?
I'm just saying, if that's what aliens looked like, I'd let them probe me. Like I said, I've been trying to get pegged for months
So you're
now,
just
so.
you're just talking about pegging earlier, so it's like interstellar pegging.
I'd be like, oh, you want to put that where?
You will have to pay extra for that.
Get this fucker out of here.
They pull it out and they're like, oh, no.
That's
half
another-
of a log comes out on the back.
Yeah, and then it turns into liquid at the end. What the fuck is this?
I think he ate.
Biohazard.
I think he ate Oreos.
It's all black.
I smell steak and shake here too. Sorry.
What the fuck has this human been consuming?
Our party boy Walton, Travis Walton, was born back in 10th of February in 1953. So what would that make him about the time of the abduction? And 75?
98.
So like 43.
98? 1998?
Oh, nobody, you didn't notice Burton's.
I didn't hear Burton's what he said.
Yeah, if he was born in 53 and it happened in 75, then he's 47.
You just said 45.
Yeah, same thing. He's in his mid 40s.
I think he was 27? No, I can't do math. No, that's not right either. Fuck.
Yeah, he's
For
like
fuck's-
36.
Okay.
What?
We'll say he's at least 20, maybe 35 years old, somewhere in that ballpark. Because I'm not
He's
doing the math.
22. Right? 22.
Let's say he's in between 20 and 85, okay, just to be safe.
Yeah, he's somewhere in the realm of baby to 100.
He was 22 years old. Okay.
Yeah, I already said that.
I know. You were right.
He was 11.
You're right. I was trying to do fast math after drinking 4 beers.
Oh God, not again with the beer thing.
Are you gonna chug a beer for every alien abduction?
I'm gonna chug a beer for every time I can't do math.
What a needle dick.
I'd eat some butts right now.
Oh Lord.
Sounds delicious.
Okay, we've established he was 22 years old. He was born in February of 1953.
He's barely even born.
He was 22 years old when he was born in 1953. God, are you confused yet?
I am.
Let's keep rolling. His mother, Mary Walton, later Mary Walton Kelton.
Why can't anybody have fucking normal names?
No.
Why can't it be like Sam Smith and Jim Johnson?
The trouble is, occasionally, is like I'll try to say it before I fully read it. So if I get like Kel, I'll just go Kellogg.
Yeah, the T's are silent, so I think it's just Killo.
Kello. Oh, okay. Killa. Travis's family lived in this Phoenix. God damn it, this Phoenix.
He lives in his penis.
I don't know what's wrong.
Sphinx.
The penis.
Phoenix.
This Phoenix
His
area.
sphincter.
The Phoenix.
I am so
Phoenix.
fucking confused right now by what's happening.
I'm sorry, I'm butchering this whole backstory here. I'm butchering it. After being born February 10th in 1953 to Mary Walton, later Mary Kellott, Travis and his family moved and lived in the Phoenix area for the first 11 years of his life, which was 11 years before the abduction, if you followed anything I said in the handful of sentences before this.
Wait, so how old was he?
When?
Burton.
After this, his family moved to the forested mountain area of the state.
Not a town, just where are you guys moving to? The forested mountain area.
Over that way somewhere.
Well, I couldn't find out where exactly. So I think they moved out to Snowflake and they stayed there, but
Okay.
I wasn't real sure.
Snowflake.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, admittedly, there wasn't much out there on his early life other than he liked to experiment with marijuana and other stimulants and a little Lucy, a little LSD. So he was a wild boy. I mean, through and through. Other than just running up to a UFO, he probably thought he was having a flashback, to be honest with you, at this point. But, yep. So he had some experimentation with some mind-altering substances in his early wild years. Ultimately, Travis was like many young rural bucks, just getting wild on LSD, trying to figure out what to do with their life on LSD. During these early wild years, Travis was around 18 and ran into some trouble that skeptics would often point to as proof that Travis's story of abduction is ultimately full of shit. And it was 1971.
I don't know.
Which was 4 years before the abduction. So that would have made him 18.
11.
As we said before, it was 18.
He's, and it was 1971. So
we're just making sure everyone's clear here.
So I do want to say that to go along with the wild man persona, Mr. Ballin, when I watched through his shit, pointed out that said he found somewhere that Travis was riding around with his friends one night and a bear, like a big bear, stumbled out into the road. So they chalked up the brakes. He jumped out of the car without anybody knowing it and ran up to the bear screaming at it. And the bear ran off scared. They just said that's like sort of the type of thing he did.
He just zooted out of his mind on like cocaine and just running like and yelling like fucking hell at a bear. It was like, fuck.
They said he was a wild man for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, sounds like it.
if the drugs and everything else wasn't bad enough to make him wild, In 1971, Travis and his friends were arrested and they pled guilty to breaking into the offices of the Western Molding Company. And they stole company checks, and then they forged their names and cashed them. So that's a very 1971 crime. Travis was placed on probation for 2 years, and after which he was allowed to plead not guilty, and they cleansed their records.
This record has been cleansed.
Wonder if he actually got arrested or if that was all just made up, like in his LSD mind.
Well, man, I think this happened, but I don't know. I think he just woke up on a couch. Felt like 2 years of probation, but it really was 2 hours.
He's digging in a shitter at the state park, thinking he's writing fake checks and shit. By 1975, Travis, who is now 22, straightened up his shit significantly and was living in Snowflake, Arizona. I believe Snowflake was around 2,500 people at the time. Travis was still working with the same logging outfit that he started with around 15, off and on.
Is Snowflake in the forested mountain area of Arizona?
Yep. The head of the crew that Travis worked for, his name was Mike Rogers. He was about 28 at the time. Him and Travis became quick friends, and well, actually, they became friends once he started working for him. Mike had also, at that time, been bidding on these government thinning projects for quite some time, taking the small ones. And I believe this one may have been the biggest one he acquired up to that point.
How big was it?
They had to thin a fucking huge amount.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get in here. We're gonna get into the thin and yeah, because at that time in 75, Travis worked with 6 other people, and Mike won the bid for a federal contract to thin out small trees from an unknown area known as Turkey Springs. And this is in the Apache Sitgravy National Forest.
I think it's a shit grievous.
Shit gravy.
Shit grievuses.
General Grievous. Yep.
Crevice?
Hello,
Shit crevice.
General Kenobi. General Grievous could probably thin out some fucking trees with those 4 lightsaber arms he's got there, He's like a one-man logging crew.
Guys, go home.
To think he wanted to work for the Separatists and try to... Oh, wait, never mind.
We're trying to have a Clerks moment and relate.
Yeah. The Turkey Springs job called for the thinning of 1,277 acres by August of 75. So the Turkey Springs job called for the thinning of 1,277 acres by August of 75. When Mike realized that his crew wouldn't be able to meet the August deadline, he asked for an extension, to which the Forestry Service gave him until November the 10th.
That's a lot of fucking land for 6, including Mike, 7 people.
What I awkwardly was trying to figure out was when this started and how long they had from start to the initial finish.
I couldn't find anything with regards to when he got the contract.
Like when it was, yeah. Well, suffices to say that it would take probably quite a few months for 6 guys to clear that big of a tract of land.
Yeah.
It's huge tracts of land.
China tracks.
China tracks.
China.
Mm-hmm.
On October 16th, the day after my birthday, a
happy birthday
Forestry Service inspector visited the site and concluded the job could not fucking possibly be completed by November with their little 7-man crew. And Mike knew that failure to complete this job would lead to a $2,500 penalty and also disqualify him from bidding on future Forest Service contracts.
On October 20, Rogers wrote to the Forestry Service, to his Forestry Service contracting officer, He wrote,
I cannot honestly say whether or not we will finish on time. However, we are working every day with as much manpower as I can hire. I will not stop work until this job is finished or until I'm asked to stop. I have had considerable trouble keeping a full crew on the job. The area is very thick, and the guys have poor morale because of this. We will keep working and trying hard.
I'd like to know what a full crew would be, because, 7. He's got 7 guys. Is he close? So what was a full crew, 10?
Maybe
15?
11.
11?
3.
11, with 11 they could do it.
Yeah, with 3 they could.
4.
Do.
With 3? Yeah, not 7, but 3.
They've got somebody riding on a drone flying around. Whee!
Yeah, 3. One of those guys is General Grievous. He's out there just running through going, oh, General Kenobi. I don't know. I got nothing.
Yep, you nailed it, son. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, big things bringing this to the table here.
They needed Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Oh. Yeah.
Could have got that shit done easy.
But
Yeah.
they're in the woods, not around vampires. What do you... Oh, look at that tree right there. That's a vampire. Oh, fuck.
Hey, old
no,
Abe.
remember he took his axe and he was like...
Yeah, no, he was... Yeah.
Cutting down trees like a motherfucker.
Oh, I've
I
never
watched,
actually watched that.
Sidebar, I watched, the Abraham Lincoln movie with, oh, fuck, who was it? Was it,
General Grievous?
Yeah, with General Grievous, when General Grievous plays Abraham
Russell
Lincoln.
Crowe.
No, who's the one? Is it,
Daniel Day-Lewis.
yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Tom
So I watched-
Tom Holland.
I watched back to back. I watched that, and then Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, to see if there was any inaccuracies between the two movies.
Let's see what they got right. Let's base the true facts off of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
I think Vampire Hunter was probably a little closer to the truth. I'll give Daniel Day-Lewis his credit. He did a good job, but, that other guy could spin an axe.
Yep.
Also, on the same night of October 20th, there was a made-for-TV movie that aired on NBC called The UFO Incident. The movie was about the Betty and Barney Hill abductions, with none other than James Earl Darth Vader Jones, bring Star Wars back into this, starring as the titular character of Benny Barney Hill.
Benny?
Yep, not Benny Hill, Barney Hill.
I can't do the Benny Hill music, so...
Yeah, that song's called Yakety Sax, for those of you who want to know. Yeah.
We actually mentioned that movie, when we talked about Betty and Barney Hill.
What?
We actually mentioned the UFO incident when we did the episode on Betty and
yeah.
Barney Hill.
Yeah.
So
I do want to mention too, give credit where
Yeah, and what episode was that?
the lovely acting of Estelle Parsons as Betty Hill. That was episode 14 and 15.
oh my God.
Lunch Pail Boys.
Copyright.
Lunch Pail Boys number 14 and 15.
So, on the day of the abduction, the 7-man crew that was logging with Travis consisted of the foreman of the group, Mike Rogers, who was 28.
Alan Dallas and John Gouletti, who were both 21 at the time and had recently been discharged after 3 years of service with the Navy. Both were quiet and tended to keep to themselves. As described by Travis, Allen was an asshole. He would frequently start shit with everyone on the crew. Travis had a few run-ins with this guy, and Travis, and he didn't feel really like Allen really liked him that much.
Yeah. This dude was a cunt.
They had some beef.
You may recognize this next person who filmed Bigfoot, Ken Patterson.
Nope. That's not the same Patterson from the Patterson Gimli film.
Good try, though. Nice try, though.
I am surprised he remembered the Bigfoot. My dick's up for you. Dick's up for her.
I almost was like, oh, you know what? Is he?
Yes. So Ken Patterson, he's the next feller on the crew. He was 26 and very athletic. He had amazing pecs and a 9-pack. He was often made to wear no shirt at all while logging so that everyone could admire his man muscles.
Did he have 3
According
rows
to Travis, Ken was pretty damn good at sports in high school, and he had a newborn son at the time and a wife who also was super hot.
They said out of everybody, he was the most level-headed one, it seemed like.
He also had 3 rows of 3 abs. Which
3
is
rows
pretty
of
cool.
3 abs, yep.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to. Yeah. Dwayne Smith, who was also around 21, was pretty new to the gang. He was about 6'7", and was said to be quite the hard worker.
When
Sounds like a damn tree himself.
when Travis said like Dwayne wouldn't let like his height get in the way of him working hard. He said that Dwayne did have a hard time by the end picking up the pieces and moving them and shit because of like how far down he had to go compared to everybody else. But he said the dude still he wasn't sure how long he would last, was what Travis said.
These guys, their names do kind of sound like the starting 5 for the Utah Jazz in 1996.
Dwayne Smith? Nope. Steve Pierce? Nope.
Yep.
Corbin Dallas. Oh wait, Alan Dallas.
Corbin Dallas?
Corbin Dallas multi-pass.
Yep. Multi-pass.
At 6'7", number 21, Dwayne Smith. Steve Pierce was a...
Wait, hold on. Just because you can say it like that doesn't make it more...
No, I mean, lends to the credibility.
No, it doesn't.
yeah, a little bit.
Yep, that's true.
You fucking idiot.
Big and husky. In his mid to late 20s, but he was actually 17. Steve Pierce. He's known to be a pretty hard worker.
Wait, so you're talking about Steve Pierce there?
Yep.
Okay. On November 5th, the crew had been working like they usually, trying to hurry along and meet their deadlines. This day wasn't really out of the ordinary from any other one. They had to skip breaks and shit like that just to make sure they wanted to try to get this all done. And all the guys acknowledge it. There was nothing out of the ordinary for this day. They did say it was hunting season. There were rifles being fired all around them nonstop. Travis said after initially being there and it started happening, the crew had grown used to it. So it wasn't really out of the ordinary for him. He said that they never had been shot at or anything like that. So imagine working in a fucking woods during, like, say, deer season.
Something odd that did happen prior to the really odd shit, though. Travis did note that during one of the work days, while he was cutting some trees, he saw a shadow quickly descend upon him and sniff him.
Nope, I don't think they sniffed him.
And he said, "I had hairy legs, and all the boys and kids like to rub my hairy legs." And then it was gone. So Travis reacted like a cat and got out of the way, real nimbly-bimbly like. When he looked at what had fallen, he saw a tree lying on the ground. A tree fell on him?
No, it almost did. So if a tree was
Almost.
smelling him like Joe Biden, I'd be really concerned it stopped in midair.
It's like one of those trees from the Lord of the Rings.
Hank, this ant just started smelling me. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, this fucking oak is a little pervy, if you ask me.
I swear it grabbed my junk, Hank.
Standing behind the stump was old Alan himself, Alan Dallas. Alan gave Travis a cold smile. The smile almost seemed like Alan was happy about the tree almost landing on Travis.
Fucking crazy.
A little fucking wild.
Yeah.
Alan's a little wild himself.
Which that'll get brought up later when we talk about like why people debated whether he was killed or not.
Oh, sure. I mean, he had a homicidal guy trying to cut trees onto him.
So
natural.
So at 6 p.m., Travis quit cutting, stopped the chainsaw, walked to the truck to honk the horn to notify everybody that the day was over. By 6, it was already dark outside. The men loaded up all their shit in the truck and jumped right in. I believe Mike was driving like an old International.
International Planetary.
Nope, that's not. Nope, it's a truck.
International.
Dwayne, John, Steve, and Alan sat in the back seat of the truck while Ken was in the middle of the front seat between Mike and Travis.
See, those are some good American names. Dwayne, John, Steve, Alan, Ken, Mike, Travis,
Chuck.
So,
Let me finish this.
All right.
So before the group left, Steve would point out that he could still hear the gunfire echoing through the woods, which by dark, that's illegal. So
what? Illegal?
that's illegal, right?
Like polygamous?
If you're shooting deer after dark, it's illegal.
I'm getting all my deer wives tonight.
And not in Arizona. You do what you do up in the mountainous forestry area.
So, yeah, I'm not from the mountainous forested area.
You motherfuckers, it's got a fucking name. I put that in there.
Where do you live? I live in 4002 Mountain Forest Lane.
What's the zip code for that area?
0.
There's like 3 trees and 2 stumps, so 3-2.
And 2 foot tall alien.
If you went past the 3rd stump, you've gone too far. Go back.
It was 6:10 by the time they pulled out.
Burton
Something I don't know anything about. Yeah.
A little early to be pulling out.
Little early. So, given that, that was going to put the men at home around 7:30ish. So, the guys all started to talk about meeting at a heated pool in town, swimming. So they're like, hey, y'all want to meet up at the heated pool? We can dip our toes in it.
You gotta imagine how hard that is, though. Doing that shit at, you get home by a certain time, go unwind.
Yep.
Can you imagine how upset? Yep. You imagine how upset the people at the pool will be when a bunch, like 7 stinky lumberjacks come and show up to get in. Get in.
Fill the pool with sawdust.
In all reality, that's probably everybody from 1975. So
you're right. This is the rural wooded area of Arizona. Everybody probably has sawdust.
I wonder how they heated the pool. Just straight piss.
Sawdust. There's sawdust in the pool.
We all get in here and piss at the same time. It gets warm.
Like Travis,
it's a yellow pool.
Did you bring that sawdust in here? We got to throw it in the pool to keep it warm.
So while driving, each one of the men, they were unwinding. They were all just chilling and smoking some menthols and maybe drinking some pull tab beer and maybe talking about Shirley in town's pussy hole. Travis caught a light glowing through the trees about 100 yards ahead of them.
Initially, Travis thought it was the sun going down, but then realized that the sun had actually set about 30 minutes prior. He also reasoned it could have been vehicle headlights, possibly campers, or even a fire off in the distance. Steve and Alan, who were in the back to the right side, also observed the lights and fell silent.
So Mike kept driving and didn't see anything, but as they got closer, the men, including him, could see the bright yellow light starting to bleed through the trees. The light was shining around 40 yards ahead on the road. Someone demanded for Mike to speed up so they could see what the fuck this was, Mike would lean over far enough, which I've been guilty of doing this, trying to see something. You lean over as far as you can towards a passenger to try to look out while driving. Everybody was asking Travis and Alan, what the fuck are you guys seeing? What's happening,
To which Dwayne answered with,
I don't know, but it looks like a crash plane hanging in a tree.
Once the truck got to a point where the guys had an unobstructed view of the source of the light, the guys saw something that they couldn't explain initially. John screamed, "Stop!" followed by, "Stop the truck!" As if he had to clarify what he wanted to stop.
Well, they always have that issue with John. He just stops mid-sentence for like dramatic effect.
Stop what, John? What do you want me to stop?
So the truck slid to a stop on the gravel road, and Travis threw open the door to get a better view. He didn't get out yet, but he just fucking flung open that motherfucking door. Alan, who was probably shitting his pants, yelled, "My God! It's a flying saucer!" Dwayne and John, who were still sitting on the left side of the back seat, leaned over practically into Steve's lap, which Steve's like, "Ooh, starting to get me a little bit of a soner." That's a Steve boner for those who don't know.
He's like, I don't know about no flying saucer, but I got an unidentified
Erectile.
something or other in my pants.
But yeah, so they had to lean over basically to try to see what the fuck was happening.
Unidentified erect object.
I love that. My mouth waters.
My mind's telling me no, but my penis.
What?
My penis is telling me yes.
Go Steve.
I'm not gonna fuck you, Steve.
Everybody's worried about dying, and here's Steve's like making advances on these other guys.
He's like, I like the way you've been cutting them trees all day.
Seeing you with your shirt off.
Would you mind cupping my pee-pee while you're afraid, please?
You want to bang by the light of the unidentified flying saucer?
The aliens are like asking Travis, your friend Steve, is that sort of his thing, puking and everything?
Yeah, he gets erect when, things get tense.
He pops a tent. Mike, for some reason, shut off the engine and stared at the golden stationary craft that was now silently hovering about 30 or 40 feet above the ground and approximately 30 yards to the right of the road. All the men sat in silence for a minute or so until Ken, who seemed like he was out of breath, said,
"Damnation! This is really happening!"
Ken's voice was filled with fear.
Damnation. So right after Ken made this very profound statement, Travis, who definitely carried his balls around in the proverbial wheelbarrow, jumped out of the truck and felt something inside of him pulling himself toward the craft. It definitely wasn't the sign that said party barge.
It was probably the sign that said free tortillas and dip.
Ooh. Hell yeah.
The aliens are going to get me every fucking time. I'd be like, stop.
Gonna get my dip on.
Them guys have to be illegal. Let's get on that fucking ship.
Fuck yeah, they're probably the best. You got any tableside guac? You making tableside guac in there?
They're like, Gleep Glorp, go in there and shit. We'll get you some guac here in a second.
It looks like guac. Didn't taste like it. So Travis said that he was afraid that the craft would actually fly away before he got the chance to see something like this. He actually kind of expected it to as he got closer to. I think I was listening to him his interview with Art Bell, and he kind of was like, "Yeah, I kind of figured it would like take off like a wild animal, like if you got too close to it."
Yeah,
and then it didn't. But yeah, he wasn't going to pass up on the chance of a lifetime to see this thing. So again, Travis began to jog towards the ship.
He jogged towards the ship.
Bert, I'm gonna fucking murder you. I'm gonna make you start writing fucking outline, bitch.
I just do it to make you sad. I'm sorry.
Nothing like pointing out the failures of others.
I figured
take it so personal, Steve.
I'm popping an erection right now. I can't.
I figured he didn't mean job towards the ship.
So, goddamn illegals are taking our job.
Took your job.
Yeah, they're coming down on their spaceships and stealing our jobs.
So
you come back, give me my job and give me some guacamole. Chips.
So Burton, Zuul, both of you can attest to it. I feel like this would be like around mid-20s. I think this would be me doing this.
I could see you doing it. You'd probably be carrying a shotgun too.
Yeah, you definitely have a shotgun.
Fuck you guys.
No, you would. You have it. You walk up with a shotgun on your shoulder. And you're like,
You'd be going, "You son of a bitch! You son of a bitches, come here!"
I'd shoot at him. And then you guys would see me turn like to the proverbial cartoon skeleton, burn away.
Yeah.
And then you get him sprinting back. Burton, Zuul, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
I stirred up the hornet's nest.
Oh, fucking great. Yeah, great.
Oh, gosh. So when Travis got about 20 yards away, the surprise had slipped away from the men in the truck, and they began to yell for Travis to come back. Travis, get your dumb ass over here. What the fuck are you doing?
They don't have tortillas on that goddamn ship. Get back here.
Travis stopped and hesitated for a few seconds, realizing what he was doing was pretty fucking stupid. Anyways, Travis was like, yep, I'm going to go ahead and turn back towards the ship and get closer. Then someone yelled,
"That crazy son of a bitch!"
God damn, I feel like I'm watching a soap opera from Orange County right here. So, in later interviews, Travis would tell the interviewers that he was scared shitless, but he wanted to prove himself. He didn't want to be that guy, that the men on the logging crew would make fun of, at a future date for not having the balls.
Even though the rest of them were shitting themselves in the truck.
I think the moment he got out of the vehicle and started running up, taking his shirt off, going, "Wow!" He bypassed being made fun of. I'd be like, that dude deserves a beer on me.
That dude is a wild man. As Travis got closer, he began to hear the sound of low and high-pitched mechanical sounds, along with random high-pitched beeping sounds. A lot of sounds. Just like that, Burton. What Burton did.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Sounding faint at first, but once Travis got within 6 feet of being almost completely underneath the ship, the sounds were loud. Mike yelled for Travis again to come back to the truck.
So it was probably more like this. It was like,
Travis, get your ass back to the truck!
No, it doesn't sound like a Korn album, Burton. He sort of started doing.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that is. Maybe that is what it sounds like.
are you ready?
When Mike yelled at Travis, Travis took his eyes off the floating craft and quickly turned towards the truck. When Travis turned his head back to the craft, the ship became loud and the air seemed to vibrate around him. This made Travis jump in surprise. And then the ship started doing some wobbling shit, almost like a top. The ship stayed at the exact same height while doing it. Travis began to crouch, even though I think it's a little bit too late by this time. He attempted to pull what's his name? He attempted to do a solid snake, and
Hid in a cardboard box.
the craft's like, "What was that?"
Little exclamation point went above it.
After the strong vibrations, I'm picking up strong vibrations.
Oh, God. That's when you know you need to get the fuck away from that ship, because they ain't here to...
Bop. Ooh, strong vibrations. Bop, bop. God damn, that's a party barge. Or fucking get the Beach Boys up there.
That's when you know they don't have tortillas on that ship.
Ah, shit, there's not tortillas. It's a bunch of just drunk middle-aged ladies up there.
So after Travis felt the vibrator, he expected the ship to fly off, but when it didn't, Travis said he felt like he needed to get the fuck away. He rose from his crotch.
I bet he did.
Travis rose from his crouch and began to run when a bright blue-green beam shot for the bottom of the craft. So it shot from like the penis of the spacecraft.
That'd probably be the butt.
Yeah, maybe the butt. Maybe the
Taint.
The grundle.
Face taint. Ship taint.
Yep, ship taint. Ship taint.
I got the ship taint.
Saucer taint. Get up here and touch my saucer taint.
The UFO's like, he's looking at my saucer taint. Let's shoot him. We took a picture.
You ain't supposed to see that.
Get in my craft hole.
What?
Oh, the aliens are up there like, this guy's crouching. Let's shoot him with our blue beam.
That's the best fucking alien voice I've heard you do.
That's
actually.
pretty damn-
That's 9 out of 10.
So what Travis said when he saw the blue beam taint is that he felt something like a high voltage electrocution hit his head and chest. He felt the initial blow, but then it all went dark. Darkness washes over the dude. Travis was stating in his book that he saw and heard nothing. Blacker than the blackest black on the moonless prairie night.
Oh, fuck. The men in the truck told law enforcement when they talked to him later that Travis was thrown back and his body landed limply, sprawled on the ground. There's a little bit of a difference, a discrepancy of what the guy said, how far Travis was thrown. Some said it was about 20 feet, and others said it was about 10. But in all reality, who gives a fuck? The dude was thrown back regardless.
Good distance.
Yeah.
It got him!
Steve yelled. Dwayne then screamed,
Let's get out of here.
Jesus.
Alan, who had his head tucked down almost between his knees, hysterically shrieked.
Get this son of a bitch moving!
That's a good hysterical shriek, yeah.
Mike was desperately fumbling around for the ignition switch. Mike's shaking fingers were finally able to grab the keys and start it. The engine roared to life on the first start. He popped the clutch and the truck lunged forward. The knobby mud and snow tires flung rocks and mud everywhere, and the tires began to spin out of the clearing.
Mike's fumbling hands were eased when Steve caressed his delicate fingers.
Don't tell your mom.
Mike gunned the truck, getting up to about 35, which was way too fast for the boulder-strewn road that they were traversing. He was driving like it was the first Fast and Furious movie, not where they drift through Tokyo, but maybe a little bit. Attempting to get away from the craft while also trying to avoid the big rocks and the potholes.
Mike screamed over his shoulder.
Is it following us?
Nobody answered, so Mike yelled again.
Is it after us?
He shouted again, and still nobody answered.
So Mike continued to speed like a bat out of hell down the road that was barely suitable for 10 to 15 miles an hour. Which we'll talk in a few minutes about how bad this road was. Mike was running over small bushes, small trees, and hitting small boulders with no regard in his old-ass International truck. And I will say they said they had to drive through several creek beds, that the creek bed would pop up and so it would drag real bad across it. He said they hit a few of those doing 35 and he thought the fucking truck was just going to separate.
I mean, yeah. Hearing the accounts of that road, the road that they had to take, they're probably lucky that they got out of there.
They tried taking off and they actually wrecked no more than a second. They could still see the UFO. God damn it.
Shit, this sucks. Oh. Mike ended up stopping, though, a few miles down the road. With everybody freaking out. They're having a little bit of a hard time collecting themselves from what they just witnessed. They were either praying, crying, or cursing, or all three. Steve was crying in the back seat while praying. Finally, Ken interrupted the unorthodox group session and said,
I can't believe what I just saw.
No, you got to do your actual Ken that you did not too long ago. That was a good Ken.
I can't remember what it was. I can't believe what I just saw.
Dwayne responded with,
I ain't never seen a UFO before.
Alan then stuttered out,
It looked like it killed him. Mike began to ask if the other guy saw a blue laser hit Travis and then throw him back. Mike told the guys that the light, it just seemed to engulf Travis. The men all said the light seemed to disintegrate Travis. The men argued for a few minutes, and then Mike decided to go back to see if Travis was there.
to tell you the truth, Mike and maybe one other guy wanted to go back, but all the other guys were like, don't. And so Mike's like, fuck it, you just stand right here while we go back. And the guy's like, no. We ain't staying here.
I
We've
ain't
seen
no-
what lives out in these woods.
I ain't no pussy. I'm going. Or maybe I am.
We just seen that big UFO come out of the woods, out of its little UFO hut back there, and ate that guy.
You ate him?
We don't know if there's other UFOs just running around. No, we don't want to tempt him. The men returned to the exact area, and to everyone's surprise, Travis was gone. Like, they're legitimately surprised he was gone. So they took a few minutes. They aimed the truck lights right on the area where Travis was, zooped back. And they didn't find anything. Like, no marks or track marks in the soil where he got up and walked away, or none of that shit.
Which does say something to the fact that they went back, because, I mean, by all accounts, these guys were legitimately terrified about what had happened, what they'd seen, and what they'd seen happen to old Travis Wario.
In all honesty, ask yourselves, guys. Would you go back? Would you have left when you seen that?
TJ, I'd have left you there.
I don't.
I'd
know
have left you there, and I don't know.
I hope I wouldn't have, but I would have probably, and then I would have collected myself and made myself go back.
Yeah, I'd have probably gone back in the daylight.
I would have waited till I seen the UFO fly over the hill. Let's go back check on him.
All right, it's a good time to go back. I think the danger's past. Yeah, these guys, I mean, they kind of knew what this was going to look like to law enforcement and family members. So that's part of the motivation to go back. They chose to, after realizing Travis was gone, decided to contact law enforcement. Ended up pulling over to a phone booth to make the call. Mike and Alan were pacing up and down the sidewalk, very nervous, understandably.
And they actually picked Ken to make the call because Ken knew one of the, I believe it was the chief deputy, or the deputy chief, is that what it is, Burton?
Chief deputy.
Yeah, because he knew him. And Ken seemed to be, I mean, all the guys seemed to be sort of straight shooters, but Ken was more or less the one known for that. So at 7:35, Ken called the Navajo County Sheriff's Department. Deputy Chuck Ellison answered the call. Ken initially reported that one of their logging crew went missing. He didn't give any specifics on who it was and did not say anything about the batshit crazy UFO coming down and sucking them off and leaving. Ken felt that, if he would have mentioned the fact that they seen a UFO come down and do a little party dance, and they wouldn't have responded to him, or it would have taken several hours to respond to him. So Deputy Ellison told the group he would meet him at the shopping center just a few blocks away from the phone booth where they made the call. Oh yeah, and this was in Eber, Arizona, too. Like, they were in the town of Eber when they made this call.
The men arrived at the parking lot early and waited for the sheriff's deputy. All the men were trying to figure out just how to talk about Travis's disappearance without sounding like they were knucking futs. Or fucking nuts.
Deputy Ellison pulled up and got out of his 1974 Crown Vic and walked up to Mike's truck. Mike told the officer that he wasn't sure how he was going to tell him what happened without sounding stupid. The officer urged him to just tell him step by step. So, naturally, Mike began with,
"A friend of ours is probably lost. At least he might be lost anyway. I mean, he may be dead." Oh, okay.
That's a way to go out and, come right out and say it.
Yeah, I think he's lost. He might be dead.
I did eat some Cheetos on the way down, so don't mind the stains.
That escalated quickly.
With the Cheetos, I know.
Yeah, he went from Cheetos to lost to he might be dead.
To more Cheetos.
With more Cheetos. The deputy's attention on the men increased. Deputy Ellison's eyes began to dart from person to person to person. Trying to see try to see if they were being truthful or just fucking with him. Ellison noted the men were visibly distraught and 2 of them were in tears. Ellison reacted skeptically at first, but later ended up saying,
If they were acting, they were awfully good at it.
Mike, Ken, and Alan were the most vocal of the witnesses, while the other 3, who seemed more stunned and really didn't say much. Deputy Ellison and the 6 men waited for Sheriff Marlon Gillespie and Chief Deputy Ken Copenhagen.
Copeland. Dick.
Co-plan.
Coplan waited for them in the parking lot. When the sheriff arrived, Mike told him the whole story. After hearing the story, Sheriff Gillespie, an 18-year law enforcement veteran, told the crew,
You know, this whole thing sounds crazy, but I got to admit, I've not seen anything to give me a reason to disbelieve you.
Sheriff Gillespie now felt that he had to start with searching the area. The sheriff acknowledged that whether Travis was hurt, conscious, or unconscious, if he was left out in the elements, he could be in deep shit. The sheriff then told the men that some of them were going to have to help with the search. Ken, Alan, and Mike agreed to go back to the site of the encounter. John drove Steve and Dwayne back to their home in Snowflake. Ken, Alan, and Mike hopped into Deputy Ellison's. I don't know if it was actually like an LTD or something like that, but they jumped in his little shaggin' wagon, got gas, and then headed up to Turkey Springs.
It probably would have been like a SUV or a truck if it was
No.
going to go down that road.
Not theirs, no.
You'd think it would be, though, being in Arizona, too. I imagine it being like a Blazer or something.
That's what the sheriff was driving. Gillespie and the chief deputy chief fire. Fuck. That's what they were driving. I will say that Steve. They asked Steve if he wanted to go back. Steve's like, "No, fuck no, fuck no.
Yeah. Fuck that shit."
Why the fuck are you guys going back there?" He was really fucking freaked out. I don't think this highlights it enough, but like when they did future searches, Steve wasn't a part of those because he was so fucking freaked out by what they had seen.
Yeah. And they're concerned for, if Travis was out there in the elements overnight, and this was November, and they're high up, and they're talking, fairly high up in the mountains where they're cutting. So, I mean, it gets cold.
Yeah.
Cold at night. So the risk of him being, risk of hypothermia and whatnot, being out in the elements is pretty high.
Oh, and
Little did he know that he was just banging some coked up fucking alien hookers in a party wagon.
Tortillas on the house, guys, and they're like, we already told you that.
These aren't tortillas. These are our. This is our poop.
This is our uteral sloughings. Enjoy.
Your poop tastes like
Lord.
tortillas and guacamole.
Sounds delicious, though. Oh, Lord.
If you think this is delicious, try our refried beans.
So like we talked about earlier, whenever they were escaping from the blue beam of death, the log road was not very well taken care of. And at one point, Ielson's car's muffler got ripped off.
Yep.
Ellison had to get out and put it back on.
Just spit on it and shoved it back in. Yeah, it was good.
The sheriff and chief deputy followed up on the rough road as well. Only they were driving in four-wheel drive vehicles.
They said it was the damnedest thing Mike did when Ellison had to get out and try to put back on his muffler real quick to finish driving up the road.
I just thrown that sumbitch in the trunk.
Oh. And they said, like, you could tell his vehicle wasn't made because, like, the springs and all that shit was getting fucking used. So once arriving at the site, everyone was quiet. Almost like, I think they said when they pulled up to it, no more than 20 or 30 yards away, it was like, oh, the tension was something that, could be cut with a fucking knife. So they pulled up onto the site. They used spotlights from the vehicles and flashlights. And the men combed the area. Mike and Every time I say combed an area, I think of fucking Spaceballs.
Baseballs. You found anything yet? We ain't found shit.
So,
No, I say, if you know, you know.
so Mike and Deputy Ellison drove up and down the surrounding roads of this area in the 4-wheel drive to see if they could see any signs of Travis or anything. They also said this area was really eerie because there was no, like, they weren't hearing any animal sounds like birds, owls, foxes, all shit you would hear at this time around this area. It was just really fucking silent.
There's this one groundhog that kept popping up and asking for change.
When I offered him a sandwich, he told me to go fuck myself. He asked for $1.
It's $1, bitch. The meanest groundhog. As the night continued on, and it began to get really fucking cold, Sheriff Gillespie called the search and told the men that he would get more search and rescue people that the following morning to comb the whole area. Again, at this time, the thought of Travis dying due to exposure from the elements had crossed his mind.
The sheriff, I don't know if he did this out of laziness or did this because he had other shit to do to try to organize this, but the sheriff asked both the Chief Deputy Copeland and Mike to drive to Travis's mother's home, Mary Colette's, to inform her of what happened. On the way to the home, Copeland told Mike,
"This whole thing sounds crazy as hell. If I didn't know Ken Peterson for so long, I'd have a heck of a time believing the rest of you."
Copeland went on to explain that he went to school with Ken's father and knew of Ken being a good dude who isn't known for lying, especially something like this that would possibly follow him for the rest of his days.
So, Zuul, I don't know if you've experienced this, but I'm willing to say that Burton has. I know I have. But what happens if you pull up to someone's house really fucking late at night, unannounced, and like their property's pretty fucking dark and they don't have much in light around the house? Burton, I've had this happen to me both while working for the state and while when I was a youngin'. What would you say happened?
You're talking about like you're in the vehicle and you pull up to somebody's house at night?
Then you get shot. That's how you get shot.
I always had people, not always, I've had people pull guns and come outside. Both on the job and when I was a kid. You know, turn around in somebody's driveway at like 3 in the morning, 2 or 3 in the morning. And you just linger a little bit too long. That's when you see some, naked guy come out with a shotgun screaming at you. And you're like, Dad, what are you doing?
Bobby?
Or TJ. Now.
Yep. You come out with a shotgun on your shoulder.
But Burton, have you ever had that happen?
In the nude.
I never had anybody come out with a gun, I don't think, but lights turn on, porch lights turn on, the doors open. Yeah.
Mine's always been the places that didn't have like any porch light or like the security light out front. Like it was really fucking dark and the only light lighting the place up was your car lights. There's a place down in Valley that I did that to, and I was like, oh, yep, definitely not turning around here again. I learned my lesson.
That's where I liked to masturbate as a kid. Other people's driveways.
Jesus. Like, honey, that little driving masturbator's back.
Is that boy out there whacking it in my driveway again?
I'm glad he at least stepped away from the tool shed.
So once arriving at Mary's home, both Mike and Copeland were greeted by Mary at the door with a gun pointed at both of them. Yeah. Once Mike announced himself and Copeland identified himself, Mary lowered the gun, reluctantly maybe. Mike told Mary what had happened to Travis and that he was, at the moment, missing. Presumed exposed.
Understandably, Mary had a hard time initially grasping the story. But once she realized and understood, Mary asked Mike to help to get to some of the family members' homes so she can get them ready for the search. Mike, feeling ashamed for leaving and obligated to help due to Travis being on his crew, he told Mary yes.
And Mary didn't have a
Or
phone
he
either.
fucked her.
Dude, no. Mary's like the stereotypical, like, old hillbilly.
Mary, did you know that your Travis is gone? He was abducted by an alien. Mary,
Nailed it.
did you know?
I'm so proud of you. That's like grade A dog meat right there, dude. I'm proud.
I know. It's like a mixture of Fergie and Jesus.
That's like the Taco Bell of fucking Taco Bell.
Jesus can hang his no tie.
During the night, Mary got a hold of her older son, Travis's brother, Dune.
No, Dwayne. Not Dune.
It's Dwayne spelt the other way.
Yeah.
Duane,
And
who lived in the Phoenix area. We'll refer to Travis's brother as Big D, so we don't mix him up with Duane Smith, the one of the 6 men, one of the 6 other men on the logging crew. Mike finally was able to drop Mary off at her final destination at 3 a.m.
This motherfucker was running her around everywhere. Like 3 or 4 relatives' homes and all this. And her fucking Travis's mom's like, yeah, this chicken shit right here just ran from him. Calling him out. And he's like,
Really?
yeah, oh yeah.
Nice. Yeah, this pussy over here driving me around. He fucking left him up there in the mountains.
I'm not going to lie. I might have been like, well, bitch, you can walk over to that house.
Alien strippers and hookers. Yeah.
Yep, alien strippers and hookers.
He's afraid of a little blow and stripper titties. Alien stripper titties.
So the late night, combined with the stress of his friend either being dead or abducted by Gleep, Glop, and Gloop, left Mike fucking exhausted. This extreme stress and the fact that everybody's going to meet at his home around 6 or 7 left him tossing and turning for around an hour to an hour and a half once he hit the bed. So that was probably about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I think it was about 5 o'clock. Mike finally fell asleep.
Members of Mike's family and all of the other crewmen, other than Steve, were at Mike's home. D, that's Big D, arrived and was pissed. As soon as he arrived, he began to interrogate the other crewmen. Big D did not believe the story that he was told. He suspected that there was some foul play involved and that something serious had happened to Travis as a result.
Mike had woke up from his sleep around 7 and was ready to leave within a few minutes. He wanted to join the chief deputy and his search group.
So D stepped up and told Mike and the other crew members that they needed to fucking explain what happened.
Hey. Is it just D?
Oh, sorry, Big D.
Ah.
Big D. While Mike was explaining, began to ask a shit ton of questions. During the questioning, you sort of seen Mike sort of loosen up, or not Mike, but Big D loosen up a shit ton. He began to feel doubt that the story, his doubt began to fuck me and the fucking Big D. Big D felt his doubt of the story that the guys were telling him sort of start to wither away. He also said that he was a good judge of character, and he didn't feel that any of the men were lying to him.
Not even the homicidal Alan dialysis.
Well, nobody told him about old Mr. Paul Bunyan trying to drop a tree on him.
Yeah, you're right. This was good, but then Don, Travis's oldest brother, arrived on the scene. Just a few hours earlier, when hearing the story from Mary, Don thought the whole thing was a crock pot full of shit. Don walked up the stairs to Mike's home and entered cursing and threatening and shitting all over the place.
I'm going to shit all over these walls.
I'm going to shit till someone tells me the fucking truth.
I'm going to fart in your mouth.
Don entered the home and almost instigated a fight with Dwayne the Rock Johnson Smith.
So don't forget, Dwayne's a 22-year-old.
And Travis is a brother. What, Don is like 80?
No, I didn't
Probably
say, but
73.
they said Dom was fucking red hot.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's
Fuck
sitting
yeah.
there mouthing off to Dwayne, and Dwayne's like, he said, "I'll come and fucking kill all you guys if you hurt my brother."
I'll come in all of it. Come in every one of you
Come in
guys.
every one of you. I'll come on all of you. The first day of the search involved around 50 people, mainly from the community. These folks consisted of townsfolk from Holbrook and other surrounding communities, along with many professionals such as the Navajo County Sheriff's Department and the Forest Service.
Mike did suggest that the Sheriff's Department or the Forestry Service should bring in some dogs, but the idea was quickly poo-pooed. Later, Mike and Alan observed a man dressed in Forestry Service uniform with what appeared to be a possible Geiger counter, sweeping through like Geigering.
This is the weird part, I think. Like, I mean, the UFO abduction was weird as shit and all that, but I think this is the first weird part of, like, human weirdness. So Mike and Alan seen the feller, and they approached him to ask him some questions about, like, what the fuck is that? And, you know, is that R2-D2 on the end of a stick?
Boop, boop, boop.
Which R2, I mean, that didn't happen by then, but...
Wow!
So the guy had the Geiger counter, and they asked him what was happening, and the guy said, just seeing if there's any traces of radiation. Didn't explain why, and he said, I'm only just seeing, you know, normal background shit. So Mike asked the guy, and before we go to this, the guy tried to, like, get away from them, like, by walking fast in different directions. And
Zipping around.
yeah. Mike asked the guy if he had scanned a scrap pile near where Travis was zapped. The man said no, and he didn't give a reason why, but he just didn't seem interested in it.
As was standard operating procedure for a missing person. We're going to bring out the radiation detection.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the dogs. We're going to bring dogs out here, but we'll bring out the radiation detection. So Mike then asked the guy to wand him and Alan. Ooh, wand me harder, Steve. Nothing radiation-wise was found on them. Mike grabbed his hard hat and asked the man to wand it. The Geiger counter shot to a 6 and was beeping more than R2-D2 getting sodomized by none other than General Grievous. Fuck me harder, Grievous.
Yeah. I think that's the moment of climax right there. Was the long extended beep boops and beep beeps.
Yeah, that was actual footage.
So
cut the scene where R2-D2 smoking a cigarette.
Thank you for the fuck.
So the guy then took the Geiger counter and moved it over Alan's hat. And again, it went off just like it did with Mike's. The guy looked at both men, really fucking surprised and in disbelief, and without saying another word, he began just rolling up his cord and walked away as fast as he could. Like, he's like fucking damn near sprinting. Mike and Alan kept attempting to ask the guy questions as he walked away, but the guy just kept, not like he could hear him or anything.
Nope.
And the guy disappeared into the crowd. So a cool bit I didn't know was Mike and Alan actually went up to Sheriff Gillespie and said, you know, that Forest Service person that was like zapping the area, you know, wearing that jacket. And the guy goes, Gillespie's like, there's nobody in the Forest Service with a Geiger counter up here. And Mike is like, yeah, we just seen the motherfucker over there. He was booping and beeping, you know. And he wouldn't scan, you know, where fucking Travis was zapped at, but he scanned our hats. And Gillespie responded with, I fucking invited everybody up here. I know exactly who's up here.
It was probably
That ain't
Woody
the
Harrelson.
guy.
So that right there is the first. I was like, ooh.
What is it? Is it 2012 when Woody Harrelson's the crazy guy on Yellowstone?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any use in searching any further. He's not around here. I don't think he's on this earth. Sheriff Gillespie then dismissed the volunteers.
Yeah, old Mary Walton Kellogg is I think a 75-year-old British lady. So after the volunteers were dismissed, Deputy Glenn Flake paid Mike a visit. Glenn asked if his crew was still willing to take a lie detector test. Mike and the other men agreed, and it was scheduled for 8 a.m. Monday morning, 5 days after Travis's disappearance. Now, Mike was happy that he and his friends' names would be cleared after this, but he was still worried about not finding Travis.
And the lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Travis is your son, Mike. What?
Dude, the whole lie detector aspect of this, like, I think it brings, like, just the numerous amounts and all that shit and the people that did it. I think it brings some validity to this whole thing.
A little bit, but lie detector can kind of be a flawed science to an extent.
It is up to interpretation, but also if there's no spikes and emotional shit and all that, like while you're doing it, because I've set in on some of these, there's nothing you can interpret with that other than, because you have to establish initially your baselines.
Mm-hmm.
And if the consistent reading is that of a baseline of like, what's your name, or are you a male? Well, now that would be sort of up in the air.
Well, do I have to answer that?
I am a moth / person. Sorry.
I am a moth, not a moth man. I'm a moth person.
But I think it brings a lot more validity to this than what people give it credit for. But so that night, the family held a meeting and talked about calling off the search too early. So, and it was just that morning when old Marietta told, said in her weird fucking hippie-ish ways that, the search needed to be called off. So they all got together and they decided it was way too early. The following morning, which was Saturday the 8th, two big things happened on this day, okay? And this isn't in any particular order. But the first to mention was Mike Rogers and Big D recorded an interview with a group out of Phoenix, which we're going to talk about this interview more in depth next episode. But for the sake of brevity, the interview did not do Mike and Travis any favors with regards to proving that Travis really, disappeared, which we'll leave it at that for now. But that's something that'll come up continuously through skeptics to haunt them.
So both Rogers and Big D
Big D
went on to speak with the sheriff, trying to get him to reinstate the search. As a result, Sheriff Gillespie assembled another search party. Gillespie told people that he couldn't very well refuse a request from the missing man's family. So by 4 p.m. that afternoon, the search parties returned and were joined by half a dozen men on horseback, a couple of expertly piloted turbine helicopters, and spotters in fixed-wing aircrafts. So they were bringing everybody, some men on horses and
Some men in black suits.
which we'll cover next episode. But
men on horseback and horse on man back.
oh fuck.
You never do see any horses on man back, do you?
That'd be something.
Well, you do, but you don't really want to watch it.
That's not the kind of thing you pay for in Tijuana.
It is free on the internet, though.
But no, so from this point on, Sheriff Gillespie up the search ante. Like he was bringing balls to the wall each day, increasing it, which is good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And this was the widest and most intensive part of the search so far. Now, I will say Sheriff Gillespie had been really cautious up to this point and forward about releasing the report of how Travis was allegedly to have disappeared. And part of that was due to Gillespie realized the potential for panic and false alarm. Part of that, the sheriff did receive a lot of cooperation from local radio stations, putting a lid on the news about this. But as with most things, and a lot like Burton's penis, the rumors did leak out.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't from any of the search people or families or law enforcement officials, but via the fucking nosy ass motherfuckers like my grandparents, which I love, but those old people that listen to fucking police scanners at night, people were listening to those and started reporting it out.
Well, I do that sometimes. Yeah.
Have you seen it like an old police scanner?
Yeah. Well, I mean, define it. My dad had an old scanner radio. Now you can just have an app on your phone that scans them, but
yeah. No, my grandparents still have it, and when I go over, we always get quiet when we hear certain things. But that's when I move back home, I want to have one of those just so I can be one of those nosy people that I was talking shit about. But so that right there is where we're going to leave you tonight. Next episode, we're going to cover the rest of the search, the damn lie detector test, Travis's return, and what the skeptics have to say about that, including Miss... Oh, fuck, what's his name? Prolapse Vagina Man.
Old Casshole?
Yeah.
Casserole Casshole?
Which, I'll say in preparation for next week's episode, guys, go on YouTube and look up Philip Klass, Klass, Larry King Live, Philip Klass, and Travis Walton. And you will see Philip Klass call Mike, quote, a goddamn liar.
He's very hostile.
Oh, yeah.
He's quite the little hostile Harry.
As a lot of skeptics tend to be. It's that pretentious sort of douchebaggery where they can't consider anything else.
Some would call that open-minded, but it sounds more closed-minded than most.
So far, what do you guys think about this?
It's pretty cool. I like it.
It's a wild-ass story. I feel like I had something else to say, but that's about it, really.
You guys haven't seen the movie Fire in the Sky?
Oh, it's like 60% bullshit. I mean, there's some. They take some liberties with the story.
Yeah. Apparently, we just lost Burton so we'll wrap this up. But yeah, they do take liberties with regards to primarily the abduction scenario once he got onto the ship, which we'll talk about that next episode. Because the movie's Abduction is fucking terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
There are some really good parts, but they did take some liberties. I will still say that fucking movie is scary as shit. But just thinking about like going out in the woods and doing shit I like to do, like hang out in the woods at night and shit like that, walk through. I hold this right up there with like Dogman and fucking Rake and like crawler sightings and shit. Like it's sort of
utterly terrifying, really. I mean, but we'll get into a little more. We'll get into more like post his return and kind of how he, I don't know. I think what makes this thing a cool abduction scenario for me. What I think, and I'm not going to say. We'll leave that for the next episode. No, I got to leave him hanging here. It's the cliff. We're going to leave him on the cliff here. What's Skylar think? what's old Zooly think about what makes him tick?
Yeah.
You might not care.
You fucking. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll do the next episode and then we'll be off for a few weeks. I really wanted to put this out. I forgot that this was, sitting there and
Yeah, no, this legit is probably one of the cooler abduction cases that's out there right now. I mean, it's a modern day, and then we're saying modern day as in it was in 75, but it's a modern day Betty and Barney Hill, which honestly, the next coolest one is probably that one.
and there hasn't been an abduction like this since, at least to our knowledge.
Not unless you want to go into like Whitley Striever.
I
Communion,
forgot.
but we'll get there eventually. Well, that'll be the more, but we'll get there eventually.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys like this. Tune in next episode. If you don't follow us or subscribe to us, please do so. Write us a review.
Subscribe to us, love us, or make love to our
Hands?
hands.
I make love to my hand every night.
Yeah.
Its name is Rowena. That's a very odd name that just came to mind for some reason.
Hey, you don't choose the ones you love. The ones you love choose you.
Well, unfortunately, my hand is attached to my body, so it's sort of not a really good choice for
Yeah,
either
but
one
if
of
you
us.
sit on it long enough and you numb it, it feels like it's another person.
The stranger.
Perfect stranger.
But no. So, thanks, guys. We appreciate you. Hopefully, you guys will tune in next episode.
Yep. But I'll be after the new year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you hope you had a good Christmas and happy New Year, and we'll finish this off 2024, hopefully, unless Bill Gates unleashes the next mind penis virus or something like that.
Ooh, potato virus.
Potato virus.
Because he does
Ooh.
own the world's.
That'll be the next potato famine.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'd still eat a potato though. I'd be like, oh, this is so good, even though I'm gonna die.
That is a sickly potato, but fuck it, I want some French fries.
God damn it! Throw some butter on this bitch. It tastes real good.
Well, enjoy your famine potatoes and the new year, and we'll talk to you in 2024.
Eat it!
Eat it!